Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we are looking at player props here for you guys on Sunday, April the 23rd, as we roll along here in the NBA playoffs. We definitely want to make sure to like and subscribe to that page. We also have another best bets video up for you for Sunday, so continue to follow along with us. Also want you to head to thelines.com. You can check out the great written content we have up on the site. We're throwing the picks up there these days, and we also have the odds finder tool that you can use to make sure you're getting the best odds available to you on all these bets you want to make in the NBA this season. Rough night on Friday for the player props, but Saturday I made a video for you guys that making a little bit of a comeback here, back to 50% on the day with a couple of big picks in this Lakers game, which is going on as we record this on Saturday night, getting ahead of these props for you guys. So with that all said, Nate, let's jump into your first NBA player prop for Sunday.
Yeah, not a big name here. It is Bruce Brown, the Nuggets sixth man. Ooh, we talked about in the game video how the Nuggets bench looked real fierce. Pretty much put that game away in mini here on the road. Bruce Brown was a team high plus 11 off the bench, leading that unit. Really, just kind of brutalized Cat on some switches and that being kind of the put it away moment. So I'm looking for him to just get more playing time here and get 7 rebounds and assists, which opens at minus 108 at Caesar. I think the points is also in play. Sure, 10.5 points, minus 105. Good odds on both. In this series, he's averaging 10.5, and along with 3 rebounds, 3.5 assists, he's a plus 38 in 26 minutes. So, give the man some more playing time. You looked at with the Nets, they needed to just make him a bigger part of their plans, obviously, but he played 16 playoff games with the Nets, averaged 5 boards, 2.5 assists in those. He was a plus 12 in there when they actually made a run, averaging 7.5 rebounds, assists in 2021 when they got swept out of the playoffs by the Celtics. He still played 34 minutes per game, but that was a different situation. And with the Nuggets now, his confidence has been rising, you got to say. I mean, I was jaw dropped to see he dropped 31, 6 and 8 against Phoenix's first unit when everybody else sat for the Nuggets. And they were just like, all right, Bruce Brown, what you got? And he's like, I got a lot in my bag. If Jamal Murray, I think they should, I'm saying I don't think the Nuggets need to go that hard to win this game. It's not the same situation as the Sixers we just saw close out with a sweep because they really needed to just rest Embiid. I think they're going to be a little conservative with Jamal Murray's minutes. We're going every other night here. He's at 39 minutes the last 2 games, pretty big usage rate. So why not give him a little blow here? And if you think that's the case, the last 6 without Jamal for Bruce Brown, 18 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists, goes up to 33 minutes. So that's why I like Brown and even Christian Braun, who's got a 3.5 point prop here, to just do some work off the bench because Minnesota's second unit is bad, man.
Yeah, it is. It's Christian Braun. I know it's spelled Braun. The Brown brothers. But either way, you can pronounce it however you want. I really don't care. I would agree with all the Bruce Brown stuff. I think, we were definitely in cahoots without knowing it. Last night, I was really trying to take Jamal Murray on the Friday night slate there, and he didn't really come through, even though he had the usage rate. I think they really, really wanted to win game 3, even though at times it doesn't look like they're trying that hard because it's so easy for them and the way that Joker gets them open shots. So yeah, I continue to like Bruce Brown and what he's doing. The 6.5 rebounds and assists is a good bet. The points I think are a little bit dependent on the minutes that you're getting from other guys, like you said, but they had the propensity to play him and Christian Brown a bunch on Friday night because they could, and Michael Porter Jr. had it going a bunch as well, which kind of opened things up for them to allow Jamal Murray he did play 39 minutes, and that was what I expected as well. A lot of minutes and a lot of shots. He just wasn't quite there with it that night, and they were game planning for him, which left Bruce Brown open a bit more when they were swinging the ball and he was in the corner and he hit a couple big shots. So yeah, if you any way you want to play Bruce Brown there on Sunday in a game that I agree with you, I think Michael Malone will continue to turn towards some of the bench guys and guys that he knows aren't going to be used quite as much when they get into a series with the Suns, let's say, and then that's where they'll rely on those guys, those stars, a bit more. So I'm going to go to Julius Randle here for my first pick, Nate, who we spoke about a little bit in the video because his shooting has been brutal to watch. But to a degree, he's also been getting back into form, right? And I think he feels a lot better. I'm going to go with his rebounds as a result of all that. Over 8.5 for him is plus money. So I like that. It's plus 110 on DraftKings. I'm going to put a unit on it. It's plus money for him to pull the amount of rebounds that he averages against this Cavs team. And in the last 7 games now, because he missed one of the games that they played in 6 games that he's played them this season. The only 2 times he didn't get 9 boards was the last 2 games, and he got 8 in 2 of those. And I think you can continue to expect a decent amount of misses. He didn't quite need the minutes there in the last game where he got 8. That was partly why. I mean, honestly, in the last 2 games, he didn't get the minutes. He only got 33 because of the fact that they were both blowouts. The game was pretty much over in the third quarter of the last one. He only played 2 minutes in game 3. It was over in the third quarter of game 2 because Darius Garland was already had 32 points at that point in the game. So the minutes weren't quite there, but he said he's back to basically 100% after last game, and that he was ready to play more minutes than the 33 he got if he was needed. So I think you're going to see that for him in this game. And the 8.5, the 9 rebounds that he would need is something that he's done all season. He averaged 10.5 on the year when he was healthy. And I know that this is a good rebounding team for the Cavs, but 1, there's going to be more rebounds available with the misses that we expect to continue. And then 2, like, he's just owned Evan Mobley on the boards in this series, and that's who he's going up against once again because he has Mitchell Robinson there to handle Jared Allen. His matchup is a plus matchup for him in terms of sort of like old man strength versus young man strength. Like, Julius Randle just looks like a dad playing with his son at times, the way he's got Evan Mobley on his hip. He's just not really, he hasn't been mobile enough to really bring him down there, right? He's been shooting a ton of threes, I think, in part because I don't think he's had the mobility to get down on the block and go get his. So if he's playing down there a bunch more, I expect the rebounds to go in, even if his shooting continues to be poor. And give me the plus money on him to get 9 rebounds.
Yeah, it's going to be a gross game. There's going to be a lot of rebounding opportunities, so I have no problem with that one. And I think we also like under in this Warriors-Kings game, which is why I'm taking Draymond over 7.5 rebounds, also plus money at FanDuel, plus 115. And really juicy odds for him to have 2 steals, plus 180 at DraftKings. Because, look, it would just be a really bad, like, legacy-defining look if the Warriors were to lose this game, if Draymond were to have a negative impact after they won without him and saved their season. And Kevon Looney goes for the 420 line on 420 and 9. And they limit the Kings incredibly, 38% field goal shooting. That led to 59 available rebounds. And so if the Kings are going to continue to struggle, shoot a ton of threes and miss, that's a lot of opportunities. Draymond, his rebounding down a little bit this year. But he's still at a 22% defensive rebounding rate. So do the math there. If there's 60 boards, he should be getting 8. He does average 8 at home versus 6.5 on the road this season, 7.5 in a win versus 6 in a loss. And most importantly, I think 8.5 on 2+ days rest, along with more assists, 8.2 assists. So you could also consider tacking on 7 assists and go 14.5 of the peripherals. I know you like that. And then the playoffs, his last 8 home playoff games, 8.8 rebounds per game. He's a plus 59 with a 104 defensive rating. Not that many steals, but his last 5 playoffs, including this series and the finals where things were like real high stakes, he is averaging 2 steals per game. So I don't think it's that out of character for it to be plus 180. I think that's kind of a misset line. I think it's certainly possible, but steals are always, you can't necessarily know where those are going to break, and the Kings have a very low turnover rate, which is why I think you're getting so much odds there. But so I would go with the full unit on the rebounds and maybe half a unit on the plus 180.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I was sort of nodding my head with understanding, like, oh, Draymond's so good with 2 days of rest. That's why he stomped Sabonis on the chest, so he could get that extra day and play super well. But I was also nodding my head somewhat vigorously at the assists and rebounds prop there combo. I like that a lot because 14.5. I think he is very capable of getting 8 and 8 tonight in a Draymond-esque game, and I think if you took a double on him, it's like plus 270 or maybe even better. I can't remember what I was looking at earlier. It's one of those. It's really good. It's either basically 3-1, maybe 3.5-1 for him to get the double. Not awesome, but like it's probably going to happen. It could happen with the rebounds and assists is kind of the point that I'm making, if anything. And I do think it's interesting. The reason he can't get as many boards on the road is because teams don't miss on that horrible Golden State defense. So that's partly why there's going to be more rebounds available, is that defense is going to be way better at home on Sunday. So let me finish things off talking about Klay, because I'm getting ahead of a Klay game. It's coming, and I didn't like it necessarily quite as much in game 3, even though I've been waiting to get ahead of it, because of the fact that like I still think he was trying to force it, and I was worried that coming home in a game where they knew he was going to need to score more felt a little bit fishy. And I also think Klay is someone who benefits from Draymond being in there just as much as Steph, because of how open the combination of Draymond and Steph gets him. That's a big factor when you're looking at Klay's offense, is whether or not Draymond's playing. So Draymond's back. I'm going over 4.5 threes for Klay, because it's basically even money for him to get 5 threes, which he did in the first 2 games. And then I'm just going to go a little bit bananas here and take up and throw a quarter of a unit on Klay to hit 6 threes, and then Golden State to win with that player performance double on FanDuel gets you up to plus 270 there. I was trying to find a couple of those player performance doubles for Golden State to win, because I don't want to have to guarantee that they're going to win by 8 points, although I think it's possible and very plausible. I do think we're going to see a bit more from Sac than we saw in that last game where they came out and just sort of folded, to be honest, and did not look good at all or sharp enough. So I'm going to get ahead of the Klay game, like I said, and predict that he's going to hit 5 threes in this one, and just tack on an extra one in the win for the juice. He's still hitting 4.3 threes despite only scoring 18 points per game, because he's forcing it. And when he forces it is when they're bad. It's been the history of Klay since I've been out on the West Coast watching him play basketball. Like the narrative for him is, are you letting the game come to you or are you not? And he's forcing it. That's partly why his 2-point percentage is so poor. Like, instead of when he's out there getting the ball around the screen for 3, I've been watching it all the series. Instead of, if he's not open, instead of like either passing it back and then continuing to move or taking a good shot, he's forcing it with either his foot on the line, trying to take a dribble around a guy, and one step inside the 3-point line. It's still not enough for him. It's like either go all the way to the basket at that point and get fouled, or go to the line or make the layup, or just don't take the 3, pass it and keep moving. You will get the ball back. You're Klay Thompson. Like, I wish I could tell him that. I know people are telling him that. So the 24 points a game he's scoring at home, 6 points better than on the road. I think that's another point here to be made, that like I said, he was still forcing it too much in game 3 when he came home, but because of how much he loves playing in front of this crowd, I think they want to get him going. Give me the Klay game tonight. If he doesn't get it tonight, I'm going to get ahead of it again in game 5. So let's get it.
I could see the internal fight coming out here from Josh, that he thinks this game's going to go under. He still wants Klay to erupt. He wants to be on the coaching staff for the Warriors and telling Klay what his shot selection should be. I mean, there's a lot of threes, man. I know it's Klay Thompson, but there's a lot of mouths to feed, and there's a lot of good players on the Warriors right now, and we also don't really expect a ton of offense here, given the stakes. So I would say half a unit or less on any of this. I mean, the Klay game's fun if it happens, but you're probably trying to pick a 1 in 6 chance, because it only happens once a series, baby. At this point in his career, he is not lighting them up multiple times.
Yeah, if you look at the game log, it's going to be like 2 max in a series for him from last year's playoffs. Like, I agree. I'm calling it this game. And 238 points is so many. Like, Klay can get 25 points on 6 threes, and we're still gonna be pretty good with that, because I actually don't think there's that many mouths to feed when it comes to like scoring the basketball for the Dubs. It really is those 2 dudes with some wigs in there, and then if Kevon Looney can get a putback or 2, there's 6 points. But Poole has just been so bad as well that like I do think
DiVincenzo pull out some of those hezzy moves though. Come on.
I love my boy White Dante, but I will also say he's definitely become a hustle player as well. He was flying all over the place, playing some incredible defense. So hopefully that will lead to our under as well. That is all the time we have for you in this one, though. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Also got our best bets video up for you, so check that out. Until we see you next, happy betting.